First off, just so appreciative to be a part of this game for St Jude Children's Research Hospital. It was an exhibition game that we wanted, that we were happy to have. It does me a ton of good and better as a coach from what I saw tonight. I know where we are. I know where we're going to be. I'm not trying to be the best coach the best team in October. I've learned my lesson on that going into my 7th year. But I do know that we did some great things tonight. And there are some things that we have to continue to work on with a new team. Carolina did an excellent job without R.J. Davis on the floor and executed. Elliot Cadeau ran the show. And Seth Trimble pretty much stepped into R.J.'s shoes and took over the game and did what he needed to do. Veteran guys. Seth has been there 3 years, has waited his turn. The same thing with Jalen Washington, waited his turn. These are guys that have been there. They have a culture, and we're trying to build a culture. So this game, to me, helps us out tremendously because this is teaching tape for us, and it should light a fire into our guys like it does me to want to get better and understand where we need to get better. I learned a lot tonight and look forward to getting back to practice on Thursday.
Penny in the back. Coach Davis was pretty adamant that you guys are a tournament team. What's your confidence level in that assessment at this early stage?
Yeah, obviously we've been working on a lot of things and how we're going to disrupt the game and play the game. We did none of those today. So I just kind of left the game up to the guys to just say, hey, we're going to space the floor, play pick and roll, and just play out of it and just try to play unselfish. We try not to run any sets. We try not to really show much. We just allowed the guys to get out there and play, and what happened was it just showed that we have a new team. You know, I think with the talent that we have, when Musa gets healthy, Dane gets healthier from the back, and these guards start playing together. And like PJ said, just we didn't play Memphis basketball tonight. We played the game against a really good team. There was a veteran team, not taking anything away, but this is great teaching tape for me to be able to coach these guys harder in practice and get better as the season goes on. Because our style is totally different than what we played tonight because we're going to be more disruptive. We're going to press more. Seth Trimble had 33 points tonight in a perfect world tonight. If this was a real game, no R.J. Davis, we're trapping him every time. We're trapping Elliot every time. We're making that ball find other people. So at the end of the day, this was what we call a non-negotiable game, meaning we were going to see how well we communicated, how well we can get in the gaps, how well we could sprint back, how well we could play pick and roll, and we didn't grade well in either of those areas, so we have to get back to work. But when we're playing the style of play that we've been doing in practice every day, we're a totally different team. So I feel like as the season goes on, we're only going to get better, but this tape is going to help us be way better because now those young men understand how hard it is. Kudos to North Carolina and their culture because their culture won this game. Those guys have been there, and they took pride in everything that they did, and they played really well.
Coach, back here. Can you tell us what specifically you liked on offense and what bothered you that you really have to go back to work and get fixed?
In the first half, we got out and shared the basketball. That's what I liked about, just that first half. What I didn't like was our tempo. We didn't really push as hard as I really wanted us to push. I guess because we didn't get up in the backcourt. And I told those guys that they could pick up but not press. But that just kind of gets our juices flowing. But I didn't like our tempo today. I didn't like the way that we didn't communicate, and we've been talking about this every single day and got into the game, like I say, jitters, and maybe that's what it was, but it definitely helps us get better.
Coach, in the past, you've played teams like Christian Brothers or Lane College in these exhibitions. How important is it to just play a blue blood like North Carolina this early in the season?
Yeah, obviously that's tradition playing Christian Brothers in Lemoyne because, we try to get back to the hometown. But it's a blessing for us to be able to play the number 9 team in the country this early and a team that's a veteran team, not a young team. We have a new team, and we're trying to see where guys were. Like I said, tonight really opened my eyes to a lot of things and where we were, and I'm excited to get back to work. But it's so much better for our team to play a top-level team at this time of year.
I know you say you didn't put any sets in or anything like that. So what positive can you take from that to build on that and go from building blocks from there?
Well, when we did it full speed, we lived in the paint. When we did it with pace, we lived in the paint. So that's a positive for us because we can show that. and say, hey, when we did it the right way, when we did it with pace, we lived in the paint. When we didn't do it with pace, we took bad shots. It got down to a shot clock. It became a one-on-one game. In the first half, I think the amount of passes that we made were 2 or 3. In the second half, it might have been a little less, and that's not what we want. We want to share that basketball, get it from strong to weak back to strong. But when you have a new team, I had to see where the guards were, Kobe, Tyrese, and PJ, and it was a good test for them and good for me to see.
Coach, without a 3 like David Jones on the lineup this year, and that you're playing that 3-guard lineup with Tyrese, PJ, and Colby, what approach do you take that's a little bit different with those 3 that you haven't taken in the past?
Well, I mean, it's the same approach with all my guards. It's just basically try to beat your man and make another man get to you, and then get rid of the ball in good fashion and then get back to spacing. That's just great basketball, and then the next man do the same thing. Hockey assists to get into the paint to get the best shot from good to great. We didn't do that a lot tonight because we didn't get a lot of one more shots or good to great shots, and we took a lot of tough shots. So at the end of the day, we didn't do our jobs tonight to get into that paint and live in that paint as much as I wanted to with those guards. So that's what I'm telling them to do, to get into the paint and make a good decision.
Penny, I know PJ said it was maybe first game jitters or whatever, but the turnover issues seemed to be a lot more prevalent in the second half, obviously, than the first. Was North Carolina doing something different defensively that kind of got y'all out of your rhythm, out of your
Well, what they did was
zone?
they shrunk the court. They shrunk the court and basically made us try to play through 2 people. And when you try to play through 2 people, you're going to turn the ball over. As soon as you get to the second person, you got to get rid of the ball. And that's why I said this game is going to really help us, because first half we kind of went to a offense where we figured the weaker link up and just tried to play through that like a weaker defender on their team, and they were spaced and we got into the paint. So in the second half, they were like, we're not spacing anymore. We're going to shrink the court, and we kept trying to play the same way. And you cannot play that way. You got to get to the second guy and then get rid of the ball, and that gives us good to great shots, and that's what you want the entire game.
Penny, what did you make of, first of all, Baraka? Was that a surprise that you had him ready?
Because he wasn't supposed to play in this game at all. He's only had like maybe 3 practices, and because he was doing so well, we played him. And just super proud of him to work as hard as he did to get back. And in the first half, if it weren't for foul trouble, he was on the way to a great game. And it was a shock to have him out there because he has not been practicing at all, maybe 3 practices, and he's been out since June.
What we saw from him tonight, it seems like he's going to be a difference maker.
Oh, he's going to be a huge difference maker. He's been making a difference in practice. Obviously, again, the jitters on ESPN2 against North Carolina, Elliot Cadeau and Seth Trimble, not saying that the other freshman guards aren't great, but those 2 guys are a handful without R.J. Davis. So that was a good test for all of our guards, and it's only going to make us better. But you're right, Baraka is going to be a difference maker for sure.
And what'd you make of Dane's night? It seemed like Dane
didn't have a great night. He understands that he's a tough competitor, and we'll see him bounce back, for the next game, which to me is going to be an even tougher game because they're going to space the floor 5 out and play fast.
And then Musa, what's his
status? Musa's status, we're just holding him out and just getting him to 100%. He's a rim protector. A lot of those layups and in the paint, they had 44 points in the paint. I don't think that happens with Musa in the game because he's a rim protector, arguably the best defensive big in the country. So again, no excuse. North Carolina played a great game, well coached, great game. I've learned from it, and hopefully the guys will learn from it. We're going to get better from this and move forward. But very encouraged because we had an 11-point lead in the first half that we should have pushed away, but I guess not enough minutes in a real game together to do that.
Coach, up the back here, I know you spoke about it before the game, how important it was to play for a society and a community like St Jude, but to actually be out there on the floor playing for them, what did that mean to you, and what did it mean to you to see the crowd support it? Yeah, to be a proud Memphian, born and raised here, and understand what the St Jude Children's Research Hospital means to the world, not only our city, not only our nation, but to the world. It means everything for me to be associated, to be able to have this game, to be able to raise all the funds to go to the research hospital and be a part of that. And we got better as a team. So it's a win-win for everybody. We had fun last night at the dinner, and just looking forward to, continue to support the hospital.
Coach, being on campus yesterday with the team, what is something that you hope they took away from that experience for the team, the players, the staff? overall? Because we know you have a very personal connection to
Yes.
cancer in general, also St. Jude. Any impactful stories that were shared coming out of yesterday?
Well, I mean, I think that the young men understand that it's hard on those parents and those kids, and they feel extremely blessed, but that also gives them the understanding that they want to support. They want to get back into their community, even if it's for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital or some charity of their choice, to be able to give back. And they did a great job last night, because amongst the players, I think it was like $2,000 that was raised really quickly in like 5 minutes from their phones. So I think that's a beautiful thing. And that's the win behind this game for us and Carolina, is to be able to get back to the hospital.